Good morning, everyone. This is Tony Butler with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I'm one of the life sales directors here. And today I have Corey Martin with me, and he is with Sagicor. And we're going to be talking about kind of maximizing your underwriting success in a world of social distancing. I know the invite said Corey and Curtis. That was a typo. So if you guys were expecting Curtis, you got me. So with that being said, let's get started. I got a few things that want to discuss with you guys in terms of what we offer here in Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and then we'll get started with the meat and potatoes of the webinar. First off, we do have a new producers builders here at IMES. That is for agents that within the first 180 days of being appointed, we do offer some incentives for you. Um, we've got 5 different levels: 100,000, 250, 500, 750, as you see, 1 million, and that's paid premium. And with that, you can choose which section that you want to try to achieve, but you can get things from 1,500 piece mailer to a Ritz-Carlton package. If you're an annuity producer, you can get preset annuity appointments. There's also marketing reimbursement dollars that are available for you as well. So if you are a new producer and you would like to get more information on our new producers builders, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Any of our sales directors can answer your questions on that. We also have the IMES Business Builder, and that is more of a referral for agents referring other agents. So if you refer an agent to IMES and that agent gets appointed with one of the carriers that we work with, we do provide you, the referral agent, um, a $50 bonus for that referral. Um, Also, we provide a bonus for any business that they subsequently write going forward. And as you see, there's additional bonuses for you as far as life target premium, index annuities, MIGA annuities, or single premium life. So if you have any questions regarding IMES Business Builders, again, please give us a call. We'd be more than happy to go over that with you. Now, we like to say that we like to help you work smarter, not harder. And what that means is we do have back office support for our agents. So that contains paperless contracting available for you. We can help with life and annuity quotes, case design assistance. So if you're looking for that back office support, we can provide that for you. Now, in today's environment with COVID, obviously agents are having trouble getting face-to-face with clients. So we have a few platforms that's available for you for electronic applications. One of those platforms is Firelight. Now you can get registered on Firelight from our website. And as you see here on the left are the carriers that are now available on Firelight, and then on the right, those are the carriers that will be coming soon. As you see, the majority of the carriers are annuity carriers. We do have a few life carriers here. If you have any questions on how to get registered for Firelight or navigate through the Firelight system, please give us a call at 800-255-5055. Be more than happy to help you with that. Next, we also have a creative marketing solutions department. Now, they help you with turnkey agency or digital solutions. So if you're looking for assistance as far as handouts or flyers, business cards, logo design, if you're looking to redesign your logo, or if you're looking to get into the digital marketing space and you need assistance with your personal website or digital marketing strategies, they can help you with that. Just reach out to Jacob and his team, and they'd be more than happy to let you know what they can provide for you. Now, I'd mentioned that we have a couple of platforms as far as electronic applications go. On our IMES website, as you see here, www.imesinc.com, we do have you have the ability to do electronic applications through iGo eApp. We also have excellent sales tools available for you. For you life agents, you're able to do term quotes as well as guaranteed universal life quotes. You can obtain forms online as well. If you've ever been to our website, It has a plethora of information available for you there. If you would like to get more information on what the website provides or assistance as far as navigating through the website, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. Don't hesitate to give us a call and we can work through that as well. We also offer Retirement Analyzer. That Retirement Analyzer is offered to agents on a 30-day free trial basis. It can help you answer questions from your clients such as, can I continue my present standard of living into my retirement years? How would it affect my family if I were to enter a nursing facility? What are my possible solutions if my situation changes? Any one of our sales directors can help you with the Retirement Analyzer. Marcus Solar, who is one of our annuity sales director, is like the subject matter expert on this. I know that he's done webinars in the past on this, and I believe there's one that's coming up here in the near future. But again, any of our sales directors can help you with the Retirement Analyzer. Now, after that free qualifying period, production requirements are required if you still want that free of charge. Otherwise, there is a cost for it. And again, we can discuss that with you as well. We also have IAM's Wealth Management team. Charles Jr. and his team can help you guys with your higher net worth clients to help you, the agent, increase your revenue, improve client retention, and strengthen client relationships. Again, if you have those higher net worth clients that you are, or they are looking for avenues as far as what they want to do with their money in terms of retirement, things that are available out there for them, I would suggest to give the IAMS Wealth Management team a call. They'd be more than happy to help you with that. And finally, if you're familiar with IAMS, you know that we like to do life and annuity academies 2 or 3 times out of the year. Unfortunately for 2020, we will not be having one. I believe we're working on one for 2021. It is a 2-day training that we pay for as far as travel. Not sure how that's going to happen here in 2021. But when we get more information, definitely make sure that we get that out to you. What the 2-day training includes is sales ideas and strategies, not only from us, but from top producers as well. A lot of times we will partner with some of our top carriers and discuss that with them as well. We talk about wealth transfer, index annuities, large life case marketing, things like that. I believe I do have a polling question when it comes to the Life and Annuity Academy. Let me double check here. Oh, nope, I don't. I apologize. But if you need additional questions answered in regards to Life and Annuity Academy, don't hesitate to give us a call. And with that, Corey, you there?
Tony, I'm right here, buddy.
All right, I'm going to switch this over to you to be
Perfect.
the presenter.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right, we should have your screen up. I see your screen.
Great, and off we go. Thank you, sir. Tony, again, I appreciate the opportunity to come and share with your teams today. By a show of hands, do we have any underwriters in the audience today? If you do, just via chat real quick, and if not, great. Let's talk about them. Okay, so. I'm thrilled that I get an opportunity to come and talk to you and about underwriting specifically, because really this is where the rubber meets the road. And for those of you that have not been on a webinar that I've conducted previously, I'm Corey Martin. I'm the regional sales manager for Sagicor Life down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I'm always thrilled to talk about underwriting, because I've been in the business 25 years, and I've been a producer. I've been in the field. I've been in a variety of different positions inside of a home office as well. If you have or feel like you have a contentious relationship with underwriting, it should not be that way. That is not a productive relationship if you have a contentious where you feel like you have to continually fight for every piece of business that you place. So what I'd like to encourage you to do, just in the big picture of things, if that's what you're experiencing right now, Sagicor is a solid company to look at from not only a product perspective, an underwriting process perspective, but also the fact that, you know what, our head life underwriter, Paul Boudreau, used to be with Mass Mutual, Big Blue. So he knows what he's doing. A lot of the predictive analytics that we're going to talk about this morning that have to do with underwriting in a social distancing environment, I think will be insightful to you placing business moving forward, because let's be honest, we are in a social distancing environment that a lot of health officials believe will be going on for through 2022 or even further. So I think what we are seeing now and the predictive analytics and the algorithms that are being built, that our underwriting experience is changing forever. We feel like it's changing for the better here at Sagicor. So just wanted to share again some overviews of what's happening in the marketplace, and at the end of the day, give you some tools, advice, and just solid evidence that moving forward, we're all in a very good place. And again, it's about sharing information, and I'd like to share with you why we're having such wild success today. Excuse me. So with that said, again, keeping in mind that back in 2018, it was becoming more and more clear that more than half of potential buyers were likely to purchase if they didn't have to go through a physical exam. And this is from LIMRA back in 2018. So the movement towards where we are now really began in 2018. Now, some companies were already there, Sagicor being a perfect example. We've had our Accelewriting platform, which is an automated underwriting engine. We've had that in place for about 7 years now. So in 2018, as things were starting to shift in the marketplace, we were already there. The challenge for a lot of carriers at the beginning of 2020, when things really started to shift in March, we literally went into quarantine. Some companies were positioned to handle that, some weren't. And honestly, the great thing about having done business with Sagicor, we were all shut down in March of this year. That's when our quote unquote new normal took place. In April of this year was the highest production month that Sagicor has ever had as a company. And the reason that came into play was because that we were already positioned to take on the new normal. We were already positioned as a company and had already made the decisions to put a lot of these underwriting platforms in place, the predictive analytics, if you will, that everybody had predicted in 2018. So a lot of our competition had gone through some growing pains trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. So exactly, how do we make these decisions? How do we verify? If you're doing business with somebody in Wisconsin and you're based in Nebraska, how do we verify that this individual is who they are? So there are things at play that we all need to be aware of. And what I'd like to do is just, again, share with you what the process looks like and how we can all predict better outcomes for our clients, for ourselves, and obviously we want to have an expeditious underwriting process, because at the end of the day, we all want to get paid. So having said that, consumers, as of 2020, as you might predict, consumers want accelerated underwriting. They're leery of meeting face to face. So a lot of the predictive analytics from 2018 are really starting to come into view now. So having said that, again, LIMRA is conducting these studies that, people want to buy, but they don't want to go through the old way of underwriting. And a lot of the larger carriers in the marketplace that had the old ways of doing things. Well, for example, one of the things that happened in April of this year EMSI, Examination Management Services Incorporated, one of the largest pyramid companies and a lot of third-party telephone interview carriers in the marketplace, went out of business. If that is your primary route of conducting telephone interviews, of conducting exams in the field, and all of a sudden that carrier goes under, what do you do now? So a lot of companies early on were scrambling to figure out, okay, what is this going to look like? So it's important to know that there was a lot of chaos behind the scenes, which has slowed things down as a general rule. But there are things that we can do as an industry, as producers, to speed that process up, and it's by understanding how these algorithms are built that's going to maximize your success, and that's what I'd like to spend some time on this morning. And by the way, at the end of the presentation, as we talk through underwriting success, I'd like to share a sales idea with you that will help you find the money. So if you, for example, single premium life is something that we're having mad, wild success about, and a lot of it has to do with how to find the money, how to position yourself as an expert in the field, the questions to ask your client, and I'll share that with you at the very end of how we're doing that and how we're helping our agents and advisors and our partners find the money. So again, as LIMRA continues these opportunities, these studies, they are the predictive analytics side of, you know what, I want speed and ease. I want quick decisions. I want to make it easy. I want to avoid medical exams, blood urine profiles. I want to avoid all that. That's not what I want to do moving forward. I really don't want to go see my doctor. And by gosh, I don't want to have to be subjected to an insurance agent with a mask on. So a lot of those things now are things that we did not know in March, but now we're all fully aware. So again, you have to position yourself with a company that's prepared to underwrite that business in this social distancing environment. So let's just talk through some specific things that we can do. And again, I have had over the years very spirited conversations with underwriters, and from the standpoint of what is their job, what do they do? Their job is to choose risk for the company. That's what we all understand that an underwriter has got to do. But from a bigger picture perspective, if we're making good decisions with good information, which any life insurance underwriter will tell you, that allows my company to develop more and better products, more and better solutions for your client. If those decisions are not being made, and I have seen companies in the past that have rolled out new products without having any idea how to underwrite them, how to underwrite those products at all. And it's caused huge challenges for product distribution, for product development, for product pricing. There's a lot of challenges that come along with it. So it's just necessary to understand that I think we all can accept the fact that, you know what, it's an underwriter's job and it's an underwriter's challenge to predict good quality business and good quality risk. So again, our job as field underwriters is to help them do their job better. So the way I've always viewed it is I want to ask, when I'm visiting with someone, when I'm sitting with a potential client, I'm sitting with actually a current client, I want to know everything that there is to know. That's just me. Now, 10 years ago, if we were getting parameds, we were getting good detail, there was a lot of knowledge in the industry, we could do, they could do more from an underwriting standpoint by parameds, they would get a lot of good information. But again, it takes a lot of time. As you all know, it takes a long time to schedule parameds, and especially a company like EMSI, who was conducting about 57% of all exams nationally goes out of business, that's going to cause a tremendous amount of heartbreak. So from a field underwriting perspective, in a predictive analytic or an algorithm type of environment, you want to make sure that you know what medications that your client's taking, for example. So asking open-ended questions about, just tell me what kind of medications you've been prescribed over the last 36 months, and having an idea. So again, when you're building a relationship with an underwriter, those are the things that they're going to want to know. So the way I've approached it is, what would an underwriter want to know about my client? What would they be able to use as a predictive tool on what kind of risk that is? So when you're talking to your clients, again, inquire about any doctor visits. Have they had any doctor visits in the last 12 months, in the last 24 months? What were those doctor visits about? Were they just regular normal checkups, or were they something more deep? Have you completed any testing in the last 12 months, or has your doctor suggested anything in the last 12 months? And so you could really frame that conversation either way, but just open up the platform to let your client talk. Let your client tell you what they're potentially dealing with. Because if somebody picks up the phone and says, Jim, I need to buy some life insurance. Oh, okay. Well, why? Tell me why. Tell me what's going on. And again, asking those open-ended questions is going to help you determine, especially when an algorithm or a software program is doing a lot of the upfront work, a lot of the pre-screening for you. For example, there's some tools that we can give you at Sagicor that are 9 knockout questions that are absolutely, if you answer yes to any of these 9 questions, your client is not a prospect for a predictive analytic underwriting system. So then we would suggest, if they answered yes to any of these particular questions, and I'll be happy to share with Tony and the team. But if you answer yes to any of these, your client is not a prospect for an algorithm type of underwriting. Again, it's a computer program is what we've developed to do some of the predictive analysis. It's going to find out what medications your client has taken. It's going to find out what the MVR, if your client has had multiple drunk driving convictions over the last 24, 36 months. That's all. We're going to find all of that out because the predictive analytic aspect of it is that good. So one thing that I run into very often is that, my client's only 40 years old. They're in really good health. They've got to be. Well, be sure to communicate with your clients that life insurance is actually about body age, not physical age. And then take the time to explain the difference. And if you really think about it, it's somebody that's got that's pre-diabetic or diabetic. They're not 39 years old. They're not 40 years old. Their body is aging exponentially. So it's important to know those maladies where your client's body is aging exponentially. So their physical age may be X, but we don't know what their body age is. And I've always found that extremely helpful to communicate. And we've done that a lot in the past where I've been especially in placing rated cases. So if you get into a situation where you've got a rated case, you submitted it preferred and it comes back standard or it comes back rated or whatever the case might be sure to communicate with your client that it's not about your body age. It's not about it's not about your physical age. So even though you're 40 years old, your body age may actually be closer to 50. I've always found that helpful to communicate. And then, again, I can't stress this one enough, especially in a social distancing environment where predictive analytics or underwriting algorithms are being used, is spend the time to know your client's medical history. That seems like a very simple kind of common sense approach to underwriting, but again, I can't stress that enough. And any underwriter is going to tell you that, again, medical history being the key, but getting to know your client's medical history from beginning to end as much as possible is critical to the process. And I get a lot of well, Corey, that's a very uncomfortable conversation for me. Well, and I completely understand that. Understand that that's a very uncomfortable conversation, but it is a critical component to getting these products, these policies, these contracts that are critical, that we're out selling concepts, we're out selling ideas. But at the end of the day, knowing your client's medical history and knowing what's going to qualify them or disqualify them is an absolutely critical step in all of this. So just a few more items. Again, we all need to make sure that our clients know that we're advocates for them. We want to know all of this detail. We want to know all of the potential outcomes because we are their advocate. We are predicting where they're going to have success. So again, if any of the 9 questions that are knockout questions for my accelerated underwriting program are answered yes, that's not a prudent situation where you would probably want to send them through a traditional underwriting process. As painful as that might be, in order to tell your client that, that's going to provide you and them a more positive and better outcome. Also, setting and managing the expectations of whatever process that you choose, whether it's Sagicor or some other process that you choose, set and manage those expectations. So let them know up front that this is a process. You are entering through a process. It is a non-medical process, yes, but, and then explain to them the way that things work. And I think having done this long enough, that if we set the expectations and manage those expectations along the way and continue to stay on top of our client, informed with our client, letting our client know where they stand through the process, that helps strengthen and further our relationships. So what happens if you uncover some major medical issues? Well, I was just diagnosed with lupus, or I was just diagnosed with as a pre-diabetic, or whatever the case might be. What you'll want to do is dig deep, okay? Find out what the dates were, specifics, as much specific information as you can. Dates of treatment, follow-up, status, where are you now? What's happening right this moment? And let me know what your timeline has been. Don't just fill in an application and have it come through and say diabetic. And I've seen those as well. If again, in an automated underwriting system with those types with that type of detail, that's going to cause a problem. That's going to cause a roadblock. Then an underwriter is going to need to get involved, and you've got to take X, Y, and Z steps to follow that up. So anything that you can provide us or any carrier that you're doing business with, the more detail, again, think of it as good information in, good information comes out. The other important component, non-medical does not mean guaranteed issue. And this is another one that I can't stress enough. If you're submitting an application non-medically because you think it's a guaranteed issue type of contract, then you may consider who you're doing business with, because again, that's not how these are built. These underwriting systems, these predictive analytics, they're built around good decisions with good information, and the good information comes from good field underwriting. So again, don't think that since it's non-medical, that means, you know what, this one will slide by, or I don't have to worry about that one, or whatever the case might be. Give us as much detail, as good detail as you can get. Human API is something that you may hear more about. Human API is a digital processing company that allows digital versions of client health records that are created by healthcare providers. So that's a kind of a wave of the future of how we can get And if you'd like more detail, I don't want to go into a tremendous amount of detail on this call today for purposes of keeping things moving. But we're seeing more and more human API type of data gathering as far as client health records go. So again, human API, keep your eyes out, because that's something you're going to hear more and more about as we move forward. So having laid the groundwork as a field underwriter and some of the things that can challenge us, I'd like to transition to why Sagicor, why we believe that Sagicor is a very solid choice for you as far as from a predictive analytic underwriting decision, what products are available as far as what we can do for your clients. Obviously, term insurance, no lapse UL, whole life, indexed UL, and our newest product, WealthCare, which is our index single premium life, that I'm going to share again at the end of our discussion this morning. I'm going to share with you a specific sales idea that will create opportunities on any of these particular life products as we move along. So I ask this often because I think everybody has quote unquote used the air quotes of, yeah, our underwriting process is accelerated. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? And those are questions that we as producers, as we look for the best options for our clients, what are accelerated applications? What does that mean? And what that means with Sagicor, and again, keep in mind that we should be asking these questions. If it's companies that you've done business with for 20 years and they tell you, no, we've developed this accelerated underwriting platform, well, tell me about it. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What that means to Sagicor and the agents that do business with Sagicor and the partners that we work with, like Tony and his team, what that means is you will never have to experience a telephone interview, ever. And honestly, that is one of the largest components of breakdown. If you have to turn the telephone interview over to a third party, there have been horror stories of telephone interviews that I can tell you are not pretty. No paramed exam, so we don't require a paramed exam ever. Now, some companies can pivot to a paramed exam if they believe that's the next possible step. So they leave that open. They'll say no paramed exam, but again, it can be requested at specific face amounts. But anything under $500,000 for us typically is a no paramed exam experience. These cases are built for a potential, and again, setting the expectations, right? We talked about setting expectations. E-applications, if you use an e-application with us, and once you hit submit after going through that e-application process, you can get a decision within 2 minutes. Now, the predictive analytics tell you that there's a lot of things that have to line up. MVRs have to be in line. Again, the client that's had 2 or 3 DUIs and just didn't want to tell you about it. If we pick that up, that's going to go to an underwriter for them to assess that risk then. Again, things like ID Verify, which we'll talk about in a second, which verifies who that person is. Who is this person? And so those are all things that can cause an application to be sent directly to or directed to an underwriter. So again, the malady, no matter how small it may seem, the medication, no matter how small it may seem, make sure that you provide us as much detail as you can, because again, the predictive analytics are, if a client is taking Xanax, for example, that's a medication, that's a challenge, that's a problem. But it can be prescribed for multiple issues, multiple things. But again, it's important to communicate that with an underwriter. But at the end of the day, if we get all of the detail that we need, and about 30% of the time, we get decisions that are made within 2 minutes. So if you submit an application that is clean that way, in that the detail have been provided on the application is the detail that we get through the algorithm, that will provide a positive outcome. And then of course, policy e-delivery. that's something that every insurance carrier ought to be doing at this point, or be ready to do at this point. So let's just talk through, again, I just want to get into the detail of how these work, of how these accelerated underwriting platforms work to help you from a predictive analytics standpoint, and making sure that when you're talking with your clients, we're going to get the detail, and we prefer that it come from you. So again, keeping in mind, ours is an automated engine that will automatically pull a script check. So we're going to find out every medication in the last 36, 48 months that your client has been taking. So it's better, Mr. and Mrs. Client, to tell me about it now. For example, tell me about it now so that we can avoid any challenges as we move through the process. We're going to pull MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, so we'll know if a client has applied for applications in multiple places, for example. If there's been negative outcomes with past life insurance applications that have been submitted. Again, MVRs. So we're getting good detail. It's important to get good detail up front. ID Verify is used frequently from the standpoint of who is this person that I'm dealing with, and how do I verify who this person is. So ID Verify uses things like driver's licenses. So driver's license IDs and the addresses used on them are important to understand. That can be a challenge if somebody's changed their driver's license, if they've changed their address in the last 6 months, if they've moved in the last 6 months, whatever the case might be, and they have not changed their driver's license address, that can cause a case to go directly to an underwriter. So again, it's important to know that there's multiple steps in making good decisions. And then LexisNexis has become a big part of what the decision-making process looks like, which is a predictive analytic for P&C producers. So property and casualty, anytime you've called Allstate or you've called State Farm to have them check a rate for car insurance or auto insurance, homeowners insurance, LexisNexis is what they would use primarily. We use that as well. And so again, the process should not have to be face-to-face. You all have choices moving forward. We're not forcing you to do business one way or another. It's important to provide choice, and we feel strongly about that. So in person, whatever that looks like moving forward, you'll have that opportunity doing business with us. Some carriers are requiring companies or requiring agents to do business in one specific fashion. That's not good business, in my opinion. Whether you want to do business in person, via the telephone, however you want to do it, we're also facilitating credit card payments to get cases issued quicker. So we truly are working our tails off every day to make sure that we are making good decisions with good quality information, and that's what we need from you all. Then again, just the LexisNexis predictive qualifier, you'll find a lot of companies using this these days because it shows premium paying ability. It provides a numerical figure so that we can make, again, this is part of the decision-making process moving forward. Any company that's not using LexisNexis will likely be using this LexisNexis risk classifier sometime in the next 4 to 6 months. The other thing that I'm asked is, you know what, is now there are some carriers that require your client to go one way or the other, fully underwritten or automated, and they charge more for the automated process. Sagicor is not one of those companies. So whether you visit face-to-face or virtually with your clients makes absolutely no difference to us. We are charging the same premium dollar for this process. So again, I just put this up here because again, it's you see a lot of blue chip companies on this list. Sagicor is right there at the top. So our process is strong, our decision-making ability outstanding, and we do it on a platform that can provide an automated decision. And we do it with a great bang for the buck for your client. Whether it's term, whether it's some type of UL, our no lapse UL, which is basically a guaranteed to 121 type of product. So it doesn't matter what product you use with Sagicor, and it's important to differentiate us from the standpoint of whether it's a permanent product, a term product, an IUL product, a traditional whole life, doesn't matter. We have built the platform for ease of doing business, whatever your client's situation happens to be. So whether or not you want to provide an extended premium, 10 pay, single pay, whatever the case might be, I just put these up here again to communicate with you that we are getting good detail and good information, and we're making good, quick decisions, and we're doing it with very competitive products. So again, this is a big reason why April was the best month that we've ever had at Sagicor. An exciting new product that we've just rolled out, and Tony's a big supporter of Sagicor from this perspective as well, and we're certainly appreciative. WealthCare, again, from the standpoint of the product, the details, for purposes of our call this morning, I want to make you aware of this. And now there's a lot of agents that don't see themselves as a single premium life shop or a single premium life producer. Well, what I would say is that, you know what, I want to give you the tools to help. And here in just a second, I'm going to give you the tools that will open the door to help find the money. So when you find the money, you can then become a real advisor for your clients and give them the tools and access to the tools like WealthCare that may be an appropriate fit for them in their situation. So as we talk through WealthCare, think of it as a multitasking life insurance product. So it's a single premium vehicle that's designed for wealth accumulation and wealth transfer. It's also got on the back end of it a chronic illness benefit that is up to $500,000 that can be provided and delivered upon 2 of 6 ADLs that the client is unable to perform: bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, continence, transfer, or severe cognitive as well. So it's opened the doors to for 1035 exchanges, things of that nature. So the find the money becomes more important from the standpoint of then plugging in a solution. So I'll get to that here in just 1 second. So now that we have the tools that we need to be effective field underwriters, from providing the detail that our underwriters want to see, again, whether it's me or whether it's another carrier of your choice, making sure that we provide that detail is critically important. Because all of us, we can go out and we can deliver sales concepts, we can deliver the most competitive products, but again, if we're not communicating, we don't have the ability to build a relationship with our underwriting department like you do with Sagicor, that's something, again, that you need to evaluate moving forward. So with that said, the sales tip that I've got for you today to find the money is this. I had the fortunate adventure about 6 years ago. I visited an MDRT, really a quality guy, top of the table producer in the St. Louis area that gave a presentation about 6 years ago. And I was absolutely blown away by the kinds of detail that this agent was providing to his clients. And at the end of his presentation, a gentleman in the front row raised his hand and said, "John, let me ask you a question. What type of fact finders do you use? So just give me an idea of what your fact finder looks like." And he said, "Well, let me ask you, sir." I said, "What kind of detail do you use as far as a fact finder?" And he said, "Well, we have a 7-page presentation that's got glossy pages, and it's a flip chart, and I've got growth charts, and I've got historic this, and I've got historic that." And John looked at him, he smiled real big and kind of shook his head. And he walked back to a whiteboard that was right behind him, and he said, "My fact finder is about as simple as you'll get." And keep in mind, this is a top of the table producer, very, very astute, worked with professional athletes. He worked with very high net worth individuals, and he literally drew two columns, two lines straight down the whiteboard. On the left-hand side, he wrote taxable. In the middle, he wrote tax deferred, and on the right, he wrote tax free. And he said, "You know what? Most of my clients have their money in one of three tax buckets." And he said, "I help them figure out where that money is being held and what tax bucket it's in. And then we endeavor to move forward from that." And he said, "This opens more doors for me than anything that I could ever put together in some type of seven-page presentation." So if you want simplicity, if you like simplicity, take this, use it today. I honestly, if it's me, I would take a letterhead, piece of my letterhead, write make three columns, two lines down the piece of paper, and write taxable, tax deferred, and tax free. And when you're talking and having conversations with your clients, endeavor to have someone in your office, preferably you, find out where that money's being held. When you find out where that money is being held, you can then strategically find out what you can do or how you can work with your client to put them in a better position moving forward. Again, it opens up very deep philosophical conversations, and we've found that tremendous volumes of single premium life are flowing because again, money is flowing into the banking system, and we're trying to capture our share and to show our clients how they can multitask with some of those CD dollars, for example. So if you're interested in more conceptual ideas, get with Tony. Tony can get with me, and we'll provide you some additional content and detail to help move your practice forward. So I hope this information helped you today. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to listen to Field Underwriting One from lessons from the field, as it were. Tony, thanks so much for allowing us the platform, and I hope everybody has a productive day.
Okay, well, don't go anywhere yet. I was going to open this up for a few questions. If you guys have any questions, let me.
You got it. I'm here.
This over to me. Can you see my screen?
Sure.
Okay. So I was going to open this up if anyone has any questions. While we wait for that, just a few polling questions here. Okay, so if you'd like to get more information on today's criteria, I do have a polling question that I'm launching. Respond to that and make sure to get you some additional information. Leave this up for a few more seconds. I'll close that one down. And if you're not appointed with Sagicor and you're looking to get appointed, I do have a polling question there. Now, Corey, one of the questions that seems to be coming up quite a bit, I'm seeing as far as calls that we take, is when we're talking about those individuals, let's say 65 or older, right?
Right.
Is there a table rating that you guys will only go up to before you postpone due to COVID, or there are no restrictions?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Tony, thank you for asking that. We have not imposed any COVID-related restrictions on anything. The only thing that we've done as part of our application is a statement of good health, which comes along with each of our applications, which just requires a delivery, a signature at delivery. There are some companies, and maybe some of you are aware, If you're 70 years or older, they've shut down business as an entirety because of COVID. So there are companies that are making decisions. We have not made a decision to shut down any segment of the population, any segment of the market regarding anything regarding COVID. So thanks for asking that.
Okay. And for those of you, if you're unaware, what Corey is referring to is for those individuals that are 70 years or older, due to the current pandemic, a lot of the carriers are not issuing or moving forward with those applicants that are higher than, let's say, a table 2 rating. So the things that they're looking at is pre-existing conditions such as respiratory, if there's heart issues or diabetes. Those are some of the things that they look at. So just know for those individuals at those ages, it is important to get that information. In fact, it's important to get that information regardless of age, because we are in a current environment to where underwriting tend to be a little bit more stringent with some of the carriers out there, and it just helps to process and setting that expectation with your client. So it looks like I don't have any questions. So Corey, I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know if you guys have any questions after the webinar, please feel free to give me a call at the 800 number here, 800-255-5055, or you can shoot me an email at tony@imsinc.com. Jess Riley is also one of our life sales directors, and his email address is jess@imsinc.com. I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy Monday morning to sit in on our webinar. Look forward to doing another webinar with you guys soon. Thanks a lot, Corey.
Thanks so much, Tony. Appreciate it. Enjoy the day.
You too. Bye.